What's up guys? Welcome to Musty Yeti's Tactical HQ. Well, today's going to be a really quick video where we try to find the thinnest and lightest rail in the market between the BCM KMR, the Noveski NSR, and the Troy Industries Alpha rail. I'll be sure to annotate a link to each individual rail. Please feel free to click on those links, check out those videos to see a little bit more specs and information about each individual rail. If I feel up to it, I might go ahead and annotate some links to some other random parts I have on here so you guys can check those out as well. Now this is going to be a little weird here because these three rails aren't really offered in the same length as the KMR, our newest and lightest rail, but they are offered in lengths that are pretty close to each other, which really allows us to get a pretty good comparison of weights and diameters between the three. So first we have the KMR rail. Like I said in the previous video, they have a 10-inch version which sits at about 6.3 ounces, and the 13-inch version, which you see here, weighs at a total of 7.7 ounces. Now that's including everything, the barrel nut, the screws, and the handguard itself. Just remember that the BCM is actually a half-inch longer than what they list. That's due to the side rail here continuing out just a little bit further than the bulk of the rail itself. The NSR offers an 11-inch, a half-inch longer than the KMR, and a 13.5-inch, which is exactly the same as the KMR up here. The 11-inch weighs in at 9.7 ounces with the barrel nut, and the 13.5 weighs in at 11 ounces total. Lastly, we have the Alpha rail. Now the weights listed online don't include the barrel nut, so I'm just going to assume the standard barrel nut weighs 1.3 ounces. If that's wrong, you guys can go ahead and do the math on your own. But the Troy offers an 11-inch rail, again half an inch longer than the KMR, a 13-inch rail, a half an inch shorter than the KMR technically. The 11-inch weighs in at 9.9 ounces, and the 13-inch weighs in at 11.2 ounces. So as you can see, the NSR and the Alpha rail are very similar in weight, but nothing even comes close to the KMR up top. Now to discuss the inside and outside dimensions of these rails. The KMR's overall inside diameter is 1.35 inches, and its outside diameter is 1.52 inches. The NSR's overall inside diameter is 1.32 inches, and its outside diameter is 1.48 inches. And the Alpha rail's overall inside diameter is 1.37 inches, and its outside diameter is 1.75 inches. So unfortunately, the Alpha rail is definitely out of this fight. As you can see, the NSR and the KMR are very similar in their inside and outside diameters. So now to speak of how these actually feel in my hands. You guys know I'm a huge fan of the Alpha rail. Obviously I have one here, and I also have one on my AR pistol. But now that I actually have a KMR with me to try out, and I have the NSR, this Alpha rail just seems huge and bulky and way too heavy. On the pistol it's not too bad because it's a smaller rail, but on something long like this, 15 inches, this thing is really heavy. So I can imagine if I got a smaller rail, about the 13-inch, to match up with everything else, especially the KMR up top, I definitely see that this one's heavier. So as I showed you guys, these are pretty similar in their outside diameters, but it's really weird in the hand. The KMR does feel a little bit smaller, and I don't know why that is. Maybe it's because of the extra angle here on the lower part of the rail, whereas this is curved, so it just shrinks up, feels a little bit smaller in your hand. But I'd say overall here, guys, the winner definitely is the KMR. Technically it's lighter, it's thin, but in my hands it feels super thin and super light. Well guys, that about wraps it up in comparing the weights and the sizes of these three rails, the KMR, the NSR, and the Alpha rail. If you guys are following my search to build a 3-pound AR, the next step is going to be taking this lightweight upper rail and barrel and install it on our polymer lower along with the minimalist stock from MFT. I'll go ahead and annotate a couple of videos to that lightweight build up top here so you guys can click on that and check it out if you want. If you guys found this video informative, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button down below. It took quite a bit of work to get all these measurements and weights figured out. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them in the comment box below as well. If you guys haven't, please go over and check out my Facebook page. I'll leave an annotation below as well. As usual guys, take care, stay safe, and we'll see you next time.